Now to a TDS sufferer who may be in remission. The jury's still out on that, but here is Bill Maher pointing out to his lefty audience that when it comes to crazy conspiracy theories, well, the left are repeat offenders.
Do you think there's only conspiracy theorists on the right? I can't tell you how many people came up to me around that time. Bill, don't you think that assassination attempt was staged? Staged. You know, walk me through how you could stage a bullet hitting just the tip of your ear from 500 feet away. Yeah, shoot it in my head. I trust you. But just graze me. It's a new shirt. I don't want to get a lot,
Yeah, wow. Bill Maher, one of the great critical thinkers of our time. Somehow the only guy on earth that actually thinks this thing was real. I used to respect him.
I know.
I owned his book, a bunch of his DVD specials. The biggest problem with Bill Maher's whole argument is that he's assuming Trump actually got grazed. I don't think he did.
No.
And I don't think that blood was genuine. I think the whole thing was staged.
Yeah, I don't think Trump was ever the target.
Yes, shots were obviously fired. I think people in the crowd were the original target. Anyways, we're going to get into that though. We collected a whole bunch of different evidence that we found online that we feel is pretty compelling. And moving forward, before we jump into that, everything we're saying today, just our opinion based on information that's publicly available. So don't sue us, anybody.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, let's get into it.
It's getting worse every day.
Once again, before we get started, we want to give a shout out to those of you that have picked up some of our merch. We appreciate your support so much. And as always, your likes, your comments, your subs, those of you that are members, we appreciate you so much. You guys are really helping us try to take this channel full time. So thank you.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into what I think is the most important piece of evidence that I came across. And that's this video. This video was taken by some guy called the Brick Suit Guy.
We've included photos of him in past episodes.
Wears the brick suit because it symbolizes the wall, and he's a mega Trump guy. He goes to all of his campaign events. What a loser, honestly. This is apparently his footage. And just remember, the guy right there crouched down wearing the blue suit, he's the main focus of this thing.
Just been shot. Oh no. No.
Oh no!
The brick suit guy.
We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you.
We love you.
Losers.
We love you.
Okay, so the photographers come and stop. He's with the photographers and okay, stop. Yeah, and he's following them along, right? And he's grabbing them. Look at him grabbing the photographers.
Over here,
he's telling
guys.
them where to stand and what to do.
She's in on it.
I mean, it's clearly staged. Look, unbelievable. Everything is fake.
Should be his job to get these people down. Should be his job to get those people to cover.
He's crouching, but not worried about them.
He's not doing that. He should be somebody protecting somebody, and instead he's crouching low and keeping all these guys standing. Staged.
Staged is right.
Yeah.
Crystal and I actually work in marketing, and we do stuff like this all the time. Before an event like this, we would always go there ahead of time and do something called a location scout to figure out all the best angles. Obviously, they knew that was the spot. They get that nice low angle of Trump with the flag behind him, making him look larger than life with this little fist pump. I mean, that whole thing was completely choreographed.
Yeah, and we found a photo that shows the behind angle behind the photographers, and it's just so obvious that it was perfectly planned. This is the spot. This is where we'll have Trump. We'll make sure his face is exposed.
So, shots are fired at a presidential candidate. You work in the Secret Service. Your first instinct is to go and get the photographers and corral them into position.
Yep.
Really?
Fishy.
You're crouched down the whole time while the photographers are standing up.
Yeah. And so a lot of people think that crane had a flag, and some people say that it was being like lowered into the perfect position at that time too. I think the jury's out on whether that is the case. But clearly, they knew that they wanted to position him right here. The flag was going to be in the background. He was getting a little fist pump. It was so perfectly.
This is a Trump fist pump. He goes. He doesn't even go up. He kind of goes like.
He looks so weak.
He's got little bent wrists, and he goes like that.
Oh, that's why he's so bad at golf.
Pussy.
Yeah, and then there's that video. Should we show the lady in the crowd?
Yes.
So same thing. There's people that suspect that there were plants in the crowd that knew something was going to happen. And there's this one video of where you can actually see a lady ducking before any of the action really started.
Let's watch Suspicious Lady.
Watch this. No. Watch this shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Take a look at what happened.
Shots go off.
Look, she almost smiles.
She's completely normal. And then
she
watch.
Smiles.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? People are freaking out.
And she's filming.
And she's just like right there. She's not even freaking the fuck out. What the fuck?
That's fishy.
Watch this shit.
The weird little smile she gets when the bullets start.
It's very weird. Mm-hmm. I actually thought when you watch the wide angle of the bullets being fired, no one in that crowd really seemed to react the way I assume you would react if you thought bullets were flying.
Yeah.
I would have been the fuck out of there, man. I would have got behind some kids and used them as a human shield. And I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
George Costanza your way out.
The younger generations, they are much more prepared for this. Like they have active school shootings and they go through drills. This older generation, they take that for granted.
Shots are going off and these guys are like taking out their phones going, hey, I wonder if he's okay. We love you! We love you, Mr. President!
We love you! We love you, President Trump! We love you!
Okay, so we're going to look at this thing from a few different perspectives. We're going to look at Thomas Crooks, why he was never investigated properly, why the Secret Service agents never saw him up on the roof when everyone else clearly did. And then there's the famous photo of the projectile that clips Trump's ear, and they caught a glimpse of it streaking through the air. There was even a bunch of citizen journalism and people forensically recreating the scene with CGI to like prove that, you know, it all really happened. And the like credible news outlets even picked this stuff up.
New footage has emerged revealing just how close Donald Trump came to death when he was shot at his Pennsylvania rally on July 13th. A computer-generated 3D visualization made by social media account Point Consciousness shows a bird's-eye view of the bullet skimming Donald Trump's ear right after the former president moved his head.
All right, you guys heard it. That's the claim. This is the projectile that skimmed his ear. But here's the thing, okay? I did a little citizen journalism of my own. I found this picture, and what I've done is I traced the path of the bullet. So you can see there. And then I removed the moron. And look, does that line up with the top of his ear?
Nope.
I don't think so. So there you go. Do what you want with that. Yeah, so anyways, I went online and I found the original source of this recreation here. And I noticed when I was watching it that there's something that clearly makes zero sense. And I don't know if anyone else noticed it. You guys tell me if you notice it.
Take a look what happened.
Did you guys see it? Did you see it? I already told you what it is. Crystal knows. Here comes bullet one.
What happened?
Boom. Trump puts his hand up. Bullet two. Look at that. According to this perfect digital recreation of the scene, this bullet, the second one, went right through Trump's hand. He shouldn't even have a hand.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
That's an AR-15 that would have blown his hand right off. He'd have a stump.
Come on,
now.
Point Consciousness. You suck.
Even Sky News, like how does anyone see this and go, That proves it.
Yeah. Well,
That's it.
That's the same network that was talking about all the TDS and the lefty audience of Bill Maher. So
very quickly losing respect for Sky News. I can't help but think they're like the Fox over there. And I don't know why all our clips are from Sky News. It just worked out that way. But anyway.
And then I love how you found that video of those mega gun aficionados.
This one's really funny, actually. I mean, these guys think they're doing serious work here. They're all super mega. You can't really tell from the version I'm showing you because I've edited the whole thing down and then I've also removed the background music. But you got to imagine like a lot of Kid Rock style, rock music playing, a lot of high-fiving, a lot of pro-Trump talk, a lot of like, yeah, man, guns, right? That's the vibe.
The next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
These guys filmed this right after the event happened, while Trump was still wearing the big giant maxi pad on the side of his head. So just remember that. Mm-hmm. This is fun.
An attempt was made on the life of the 45th president of the United States and potentially 47th. So we're going to replicate the shot on the ear to show exactly what happens in that situation.
Yo, dude. That's wild.
That's what they thought happened.
I mean, everybody's making fun of his ear bandage in his speech, saying like, oh, he's wearing a big bandage for sympathy or whatever. You just saw his ear explode from cavitation from getting hit by a gun. Like,
yeah.
Case closed, guys.
You just saw his ear explode.
What I find the most interesting is that the whole head is still there.
That's kind of crazy.
Good work, boys.
Aren't you embarrassed now? Have they ever done a follow-up on that?
Good job, guys, honestly.
Okay, so let's talk about this ear and what should have been under that big bandage when it came off.
According to our ballistics experts, which we just watched, that ear should have a giant cavitation in it. Should look something like this today.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's an ear that was obviously damaged and never grew back. And that's how it works.
You have a better idea of why saying that the ear shot was specifically staged using that setup at like 150 yards is just fucking stupid, frankly. But speaking of fucking stupid, there's another conspiracy theory that, of course, Trump was not hit by a bullet because bullets, expand and they have, a crazy temporary cavity and it would have taken his whole head off and all sorts of shit. Flying glass that came from fucking, I don't know. It's Twitter.
Oh, look. Trump replaced his giant maxi pad with a tiny little Band-Aid. Yeah. And here's the funny thing, too, again, that I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Aside from this, whatever
that?
The hell that is.
Ew.
The going story online is that it was the top of his ear that was grazed.
Yep.
This is kind of more towards the back.
Yeah.
So it did not graze the top of his ear, as everyone claims. This would have had to have hit the side of his ear in order to hit that spot.
Yeah.
And based on the ballistics video we just watched, that would have cavitated his whole ear, right? So let's see what the ear looks like today.
What?
How's that possible?
So absolutely no scar.
I see nothing.
That weird.
Other than a mole or something.
Or is it a wart?
I don't know what that is. Ignore this.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with our investigation today. And also the hair.
He cleaned that up.
Dude, you're a freaking millionaire, if not billionaire. You can't clean your fucking ears. Like, gross. There's tweezers. Just pull those things out, man. Get Melania to do it.
Good luck.
Anyway, again, I don't know what this really tells anyone other than it's highly suspicious that he has a magic ear.
Yeah.
Either he is the only person on earth whose ear heals.
Yeah.
Like he's got chameleon DNA, or it was never even really injured in the first place.
Yeah. How is that not suspicious?
It just doesn't add up. I mean, you can speculate all you want, but at the end of the day, anyone with common sense is bothered by the fact that, one, they rushed him out of that event with all this red stuff dripping down his face, and there was never any photographic evidence of the injury. There was no hospital like, as far as I know. Was there a hospital report? I guess I can't say that.
His personal physician, Dr. Ronnie, released something, but that guy's a POS with like sexual harassment charges against him, so his word's as good as any other Trump sycophant.
All I know is I love a good story myself. If I was ever at an event and I got shot with a bullet, I would be showing everyone on earth. Everywhere I went, I'd be like, look at this. Look at what the fuck they did to my ear. Trump just, nope, nothing.
Yep.
Never mentions it. We don't ever see any photographs.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah, Mr. Makeup Man, he could at least, commit and like maybe use some makeup to fake a scar.
Puts
Couldn't
a
even be
maxi
bothered.
pad on the side of his head for a few weeks, and he figures that's enough to fool people.
Yeah.
Before we get into our little analysis, there's two things I think are important that we remind ourselves of. One, from the time these shots were fired until they walked him off the stage, it was only like a minute, roughly, that transpired. It was all very fast. Two, Donald Trump is famously and proudly on blood thinners. This is a guy who brags, I like my blood nice and thin.
Yeah, I take the big aspirin.
If you've ever taken an aspirin or two and then got a paper cut, you bleed for 3 hours. This guy should have just been bleeding like crazy. Let's go to the next picture. So here we are. Why isn't it running down the back of his ear and down his neck and getting all over his collar?
Yeah, and where is the, the little tear
Yeah,
to
you can't
show that there was actually some sort of...
you can't see it. So if we remember before, the little bandage that he had was like right here.
Yeah.
So this is supposedly the spot. I can't see anything.
No. Pretty sus.
And again, when he was down on his stomach, it dripped down his face.
One little drip.
But then he stood back up and it just magically stopped.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Well, he is a perfect specimen of a man, so I guess he just clots perfectly.
Like they're walking him away.
Yeah, with his head exposed.
Yeah, like because that's good work, guys. But again, why isn't it running down the back of his ear and like down his neck?
Yeah.
He should still be bleeding.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fake. I think someone smeared it on his ear.
Yeah.
When he was down in that scrum.
He's definitely got enough show business experience that he could pull something like that off if he wanted to.
Just doesn't look right.
No.
Like it just looks like it's smeared on. Like there's no point of contact where the blood is supposedly coming from.
Yeah. And we were watching videos the other day of MAGA folks that have turned on Trump because of this, amongst other things. And that guy made a really good point about what happens in professional wrestling, which Trump has been a big part of WWE.
What's going on over here? Donald Trump is in a world he is not familiar with. This is not real estate. He may have to throw a set and get involved here. Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Take it down, Mr. McMahon! Oh my God! Trump on this McMahon has happened!
Okay, so here's this guy. Either that's a filter or he's messing with those eyebrows.
I think it's a filter. He's got the little pink cheeks.
They look-
His skin's a little too dewy.
It looks, everything looks a little too.
He's got a Snapchat
He looks like a
filter.
Pixar character.
You know how I know it was staged? Because during an active, attempt, you do not stand him upright and pose for a photo op.
Oh, really?
You keep him on the ground and you escort out, blocking the body. They don't know how many possible attackers there are.
Exactly.
There could be 2. There could be 10. They don't know.
Or they do know.
Yeah, or they do know.
Why would you stand him up and subject him to possible more attacks?
Before we move on to that, we'll insert a clip that shows that you can hear the Secret Service and they're like, he's down, the shooter's down? Okay, shooter's down. Like they just all knew and assumed there was only one.
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear.
Oh, they got him? That kid that we hired? Oh, perfect.
He had a brief stint at WWE, and in WWE, he learned how to use a blade to initiate red stuff. You know what I'm talking about. They'll take the razor and they'll just nick their forehead or their ear. There's a vein in your ear right here.
Oh,
if you nick it
that bandage?
with the razor, it's going to bleed a lot.
Interesting.
There you go.
That kind of just seals the deal for me.
Here's the thing. I actually think Donald Trump is a giant pussy, and he wouldn't even have the courage to self-inflict a slight razor blade nick to the back of his ear.
I think he would if he knew that he could get him elected and he could be absolved of all of his crimes and continue to enrich his family the way he has been. That's
one
pretty good
small
motivation.
cut for a lifetime of wealth. I'd do it.
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second.
There was a book that was written and released in 2025 called Retribution, Donald Trump and the Campaign That Changed America. It's Jonathan Karl. He had many sources tell him that as soon as Trump's aides got to the hospital after this happened, the first words he was saying to them, how is it playing on TV? How does it look on TV?
It should look like an assassination attempt because that's what really happened, right?
Yeah. And what's also interesting to note is that that was one of the few campaign stops during that time that CNN was actually there the entire time shooting live. How convenient.
Very convenient.
I didn't actually know this ahead of time. I learned it as we were researching for this episode, that there were people in attendance. We'll pop one of them up on the screen. This lady was actually saying that people saw this guy climbing the roof, and they were telling the Secret Service before Trump even got on stage, there's a guy on the roof, there's a guy on the roof. And the Secret Service did nothing.
Yeah. No, I saw that. I think there was a bunch of different videos floating around social media right after the event. And people are like, look, you can see him. You can see the guy. And you can see Thomas Crook apparently just running across a white roof.
Yep. And a lot of people were very disgusted to learn that those Secret Service agents had zero consequences. Some of them were suspended for 6 weeks. They kept their job. And not only that, the guy that was in charge of the Secret Service that day, his name's Sean Curran. After Trump was elected, Trump actually made him the special agent in charge of the entire Secret Service. So he got a promotion.
So that's Trump rewarding people for going along with his little scheme. That's how I see that.
Yeah, exactly.
After an internal review, the Secret Service has suspended 6 people without pay. It comes nearly a year after the assassination attempt against President Trump. A former firefighter was the only person killed by that gunman that day. And now the sister of that former firefighter says she's angry at the agency for not taking accountability.
They have my brother's blood on their hands, and they're able to return to work and go back to living their lives. It's not fair. It isn't fair. Our family is furious.
Corey comparator's sister, Kelly, is furious, frustrated, and angry, slamming the U.S. Secret Service after announcing it suspended 6 people for up to 6 weeks without pay or benefits after wrapping its internal review of the Trump attempted assassination in Butler. No one will be fired.
How does something like this happen and nobody is fired? 10 days to 42 days of suspension, and they returned to their jobs.
The former fire chief husband and father was shot in the head and killed while shielding his family from the gunfire. Corey was 50. Rally-goers Jim Copenhaver and David Dutch shot but survived. Kelly believes the Secret Service hasn't taken enough accountability.
Accountability? No, they haven't. If suspending 6 people and us finding this out now is their idea of accountability, it is not. It is not. We need names.
Kelly wants information about who decided to put the AGR building where Thomas Crooks fired 8 shots outside the secured perimeter, to the person from the Secret Service who didn't pick up walkie-talkies, and what was communicated from that command post when law enforcement lost sight of Crooks.
Do you feel like the federal government will protect its own?
I do. I feel like we are not being told the whole truth.
Kelly says no one from the federal government has reached out to her a year later.
So yeah, in true Trump fashion, he thinks he can just throw money at these people and it'll all be okay and they'll all be quiet. It's good on this sister because there was an RNC convention shortly afterwards, and Corey's spouse and family received $1 million check. Not from Trump, of course. From one of his rich donors.
Oh, okay.
Just randomly. Plus there was a authorized GoFundMe that was set up that raised about $6 million, and it was split between Corey and the 2 other victims. But how disgusting.
And it feels very Trumpy to me. Like if you think the way Trump thinks, and you understand that the plan from the beginning was to hire some young troubled kid and tell him to pick off people in the crowd. And then Trump's like, I'll fake the blood on my ears so it looks like I got hit too. It was all part of the plan.
Yep.
And he's like, and if you can,
Get a firefighter. People love firefighters. That'll get people fired up.
Oh. And what we've been saying from the very beginning, too, is that Trump is somebody that he's such a narcissist and he's so obsessed with anybody that has ever wronged him in his life that I find it completely fascinating that he's not constantly bringing this guy up, and the fact that he almost died for his country and all these things he could say, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he's still bitching about Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they got into a feud 20 years ago.
And James Comey.
And he's not going to talk about a guy that fired at his ear?
Yes,
really? It doesn't make
exactly.
any sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's the problem. It's like, none of this makes sense if you just look at it and then you just get that gut feeling.
Yes, but it worked. It got him elected. He had Joe Rogan talking about how iconic that was.
Pumps his fist in the air.
That was a crazy issue.
And says, fight, fight, fight. When that guy who got that photograph and the angle that he got it, like where he was standing when he took the photo, it's one of the most iconic photos of all time.
And then I found a picture too. There's a big photo or painting of it that Trump has hanging up at the White House.
Oh, yeah.
So he loves the glory, but it's like he's worried that he can't keep the lies straight.
He looks at it every day and he's like, my greatest con.
Truly. Yeah.
That's the best one he's ever pulled off.
Exactly. Got him elected.
Let me come out and defend Trump right now. Can I defend him? Let me defend him. I don't care if he staged the assassination attempt at Butler. I don't care. I don't care, and I think he should admit it.
Well, let's talk about this shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Again, it just feels like Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine them sliding names onto Trump's desk. And who should we use as our shooter? And Trump's like, I like this Crooks. He's a crook.
People
he always,
riot.
but he loves that. He always loves the little word associations.
He sure does.
Anyway.
So apparently you might be surprised to know that this guy was like a genius.
He kind of looks like one.
He does. He's got that look.
He looks like that kid you knew in high school that got 100% on all the math tests, and you were like, fuck you.
Yeah, he graduated with an associate degree in engineering science. And what's interesting is that he had been accepted into a 4-year engineering program that he was supposed to start after the event in Butler. So it's not like he wasn't thinking of planning for a future. People that went to high school with him, in an article, they described him as a quiet loner who often gave a knowing smirk.
What?
Instead of speaking.
Are they all poets? Was it poetry school?
Yeah.
Who talks like that? Or did you know this guy? Oh, yeah. Quiet guy. Often with a knowing smirk.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Interesting. Apparently he was bullied and mocked because he would wear camouflage to school all the time.
So he's a camo expert.
Yeah.
And he wore black on the big day to a white building.
Exactly.
It was like a silver building. It was like just white as a ghost.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he was also known to have poor hygiene. Both of his parents apparently were counselors. His father was a licensed counselor, and he reported seeing him talking to himself and dancing alone late at night.
What?
Yeah. That's what his
Who
father
said that?
His father, Thomas Matthew Crooks' father.
That's all he could come up with. So why would your son do this? Well, he sometimes talks to himself and dances alone.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's very strange.
It always turns out that the parents of these people are like counselors or pastors. That's why it's better to be a loser parent.
Yeah, maybe. But clearly he was very troubled. And this is where people are very suspicious, because the investigation basically gave no clues as to what his motivations were, what were his political leanings. They're claiming that he used a VPN and they couldn't figure anything out other than they did have him, doing some random searches of Trump's speaking schedule. Apparently he was looking at Biden's schedule. He had done some research into the JFK assassination. So I don't know. I know. Yeah. Just the glory.
Famously, the one assassination where there's no information.
Yeah. So it's very strange. The FBI, they're saying they found some accounts, some social media accounts where he was very pro-left and he was sharing Marxist, communist kind of propaganda. And then he had another account that was very anti-immigration. So just seems to me that they're trying to like not let this guy be classified as mega.
Again, it doesn't really feel like it adds up because he used a VPN
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yep.
You just can't find anything
That's what
because he
they're
had
claiming.
a VPN turned on.
Yep.
I mean, a VPN protects you from your internet provider seeing what you're looking at.
Yep.
If these guys physically got hold of his computer, I'm pretty sure they could do a lot more
Yep.
digging than just that.
I
don't know.
That's what I
don't
would
know.
think. Yeah.
I thought computers like kept records of all your keystrokes and everything, and you could go back in later and read through all those keystrokes and figure out what people were typing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't know how it works.
Yeah. It seems very suspicious. And the biggest point of all is that Trump, as the victim, he has the power to control how far this investigation goes. And we all know.
The guy who can't drop anything.
Drop that investigation.
Give everybody
I don't
a
want it.
raise
I don't
and a
care.
promotion.
Okay.
Yeah. So many suspicious things. I mean, when I went into this episode and doing our research for it, I felt like it was probably staged. And after learning even more facts and knowing that the kid was freaking seen by spectators, like that really seals the deal for me at how suspicious this is.
Yeah. What seals the deal for me is, again, the weird behavior of the Secret Service agents corralling photographers into place. The fact that they didn't know if there were more shooters and they stood Trump up and just let him be exposed.
Yeah.
Some of them were crouching while other people were walking around. People in the crowd were standing up like, oh! The whole thing just seems weird. And then the magic ear that stopped bleeding after 10 seconds, even though the guy's on blood thinner.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
There's so much.
So many suspicious things. And then you zoom in on the picture of the ear. You can't tell where the injury is. It's just a smudge of red.
Yeah. You brought up that you even have like a little bump on your ear from having like frostbite when you were a kid.
When I was young, because I didn't want to wear a toque. A toque. That's what we call it in Canada. I was too cool when I was a teenager. I didn't want to mess up my hair, so I'd walk to school in minus 30 with nothing on my ears, and I got frostbite, and this like hard little bump formed on the inside of my cartilage there.
So you have more damage to your ear than the guy that was supposedly grazed and made to bleed.
Funny story. I went to a doctor and I was like, "Can you do anything about this bump?"
Yeah.
And he actually said, "Probably not."
Yeah.
He said that area is so delicate that if I even went in and tried to like cut it out with a scalpel, I might make it look worse.
Yeah.
And it'll never heal properly.
Yep.
So I was like, "Kate, then don't touch it."
There you go.
So Trump magically got hit there with a bullet and somehow his ear's perfect.
Yep.
Just nothing makes sense, guys. That's all.
Yep. Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think? Hopefully we're not too late to the party on sharing this now, but it seems like you guys wanted it.
I think
people are still talking about it.
I think there's a lot of speculation out there, but not very many people have went and tried to collect it and kind of put it all together. So that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Obviously, we haven't proven anything, but we just thought it might be interesting conversation.
Yep.
President Trump is very smart. I think President Trump has a gift for interpreting large sets of data.
Yes.